It's fine. Everything's fine. This is a totally normal craft during a totally normal time. Hey guys, it's Marianne for Handmade at Home. That's right, coming to you from my kitchen, which I realize you guys have never actually seen before. We moved last year and I haven't really gotten around to a home tour, but who knows, if this crazy time goes on long enough, I'll probably end up showing you most of the house. But all that aside, today, actually last night, I was sitting at the dinner table with my family and something popped into my head that I just couldn't shake. Don't you think you could knit with toothpicks?
No. No.
Just like, they're like tiny little knitting needles.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
That's right. Can you knit with toothpicks as knitting needles? I mean, I'm sure someone's already done this, but I didn't search. Guys, don't burst my bubble. Can you knit tiny, tiny things with tiny, tiny toothpicks? Today we're gonna find out. Why don't you come along with me on this tiny crafting challenge? This is probably a huge mistake. I swear I know how to knit. I just cannot remember how to get started. Okay, it's just something about it being so tiny is just, it's really throwing me for a loop here, guys. Oh, knitting pun number one. Okay, so the first thing you do is cast on, right? Sure, that sounds right. Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna do this on normal sized yarn and normal needle so I can remember what to do. So, little slip knot action, and I'm gonna cast on really simply because that's, I think, my only option with the tiny. So I think if I just do that, if I just make a loop and slide it on, I think that's gonna work. Okay. All right, oh, it's so slippery and it's so small. All right, there we go. We are casting on. Just like if I was knitting with regular needles, I am trying to not cast on too tight because that can just make your stitches really tight and difficult. So right off the bat, I am noticing that toothpicks are rougher than knitting needles, so the yarn is catching a little bit. Okay, so our finished scarf will be roughly that wide. Who is this scarf for? I don't know, maybe Lulu's guinea pig. Okay, it's knitting time. So you go in the back. Oh my gosh, it's kind of working. And around, and let's see, this first row, even with regular knitting needles, is always the trickiest. The first row you do after casting on. Just remember to keep your tension light, and oh my god, we're tiny knitting. Okay, it's working. I think it's working. I'm gonna shut up and try to finish this row because the first row is always the hardest. Okay, we are almost done with our first row. I need a thimble or a cocktail, or both. Okay, we have one row, people. I think we are now to the part of the video where you guys watch a time-lapse montage set to jaunty music that makes this look like it's just speeding right along, whereas I am trapped in a hell of my own making, my own knitted prison. This is hard. I feel like a crazy person. I really had high hopes for that time lapse, that you were just gonna see this like trailing out magnificently. Nope. I hate this. It is kind of cute though. See, this is how all tedious craft projects go with me. I hate them. And then by the end of it, I've like mentally opened my tiny knitting Etsy store. I'm just gonna shut up and do my tiny knitting. Okay, I just took a little sanity break, chatted with Liz, and she suggested that I not make a scarf. I'm not gonna tell you what this is going to be, but it's not going to be a scarf. I'm actually kind of excited. I'm gonna trim this little guy off. I really need some sharp scissors. All my good scissors are at work. Oh my gosh, okay. Jeez, get out of here. Okay, back at it with renewed enthusiasm. This is starting to get easier, both because I am starting to get the hang of it, but also like all knitting projects, once you get a few rows in, like your yarn gets a little looser, everything's behaving itself a little bit more, and you can just kind of get into a rhythm. Ow. Unless you keep stabbing yourself. I'd say we are about halfway there. Still haven't dropped any stitches. Feeling pretty proud. Have I lost my mind? Don't answer that. All right, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done, but I'm committed now. Okay, so we're making headway on whatever this is. I have an idea for it. It's definitely not going to be a scarf, because I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I think I just want it to be a little bit longer. Okay, at this point you guys may be wondering what I'm making. Honestly, I was wondering that myself for a bit. Originally, I had grand plans to make a scarf, but I don't know, guys. I don't know if anyone really wants to watch that. So, like I said, I talked to Liz, and Liz gave me a great idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this loose, and I'm just gonna tie this end in a knot around the toothpick. Here we go. I'm gonna scoot it into the middle, trim that off. All right. Now, I'm gonna grab some embroidery thread in a contrasting color. This is just a pale pink. And I'm gonna add some fringe to the bottom of this. And then we'll see if you guys can guess what I'm making. I'm gonna make the fringe pretty long so that I can trim it into a shape. Now, ideally, the perfect tool for this would be, well, an embroidery needle would help, or a really skinny crochet hook like that they use to make lace. I don't have either of these things because we are crafting from home, folks. We are using what we've got for our ridiculous tiny knitting project. So no, this is not gonna work. Hold that thought. So I found a needle. I just have a long length of our pink embroidery thread, and I'm going to do some long loops along the bottom of our little woven piece. And you will see why momentarily. Do you guys like how I'm still acting like this is like a DIY that you guys are gonna make? Who would make this besides me? It's just looking a little crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a trim so that I stop getting tangled in the loops. And I'm just gonna keep adding them all the way across. Okay, I know that looks crazy. And you're probably wondering, what is she doing now? And I mean, guys, valid question. Okay, I'm just going to trim that straight across. All right, so if you have been wondering what I'm making, it may start taking shape now. I'm trying to make a little tiny wall hanging. So I'm just adding some little tassels right now that I'm then gonna trim up a little bit more. So I'm just gathering a little bunch of this thread and tying a little knot at the top to make a tassel, a little tiny baby tassel. Pretty cute. So I'm just gonna do that across all of them and then give everything one last trim. All right, well, it's something. I'm gonna cut the ends off of the toothpick. And I'm just gonna attach some thread at the top to hang it. And then, I mean, I don't know, guys, our tiny little wall hanging is complete. Well, guys, of all the things I've ever made, this is one of them. But I want to hear from you guys. Are you coming up with any crazy craft challenges while we're all cooped up at home? Should I make a whole dollhouse worth of tiny craft projects? Please don't tell me to do that. Please. You saw how crazy this almost made me go. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments down below how you guys are doing, how you're hanging in there, and what you're making. I guess I'm gonna go find a tiny couch on a tiny wall to hang my tiny wall hanging. Hang in there, guys. I'll see you next time.